He used to know everything: who she liked, who she couldn't stand, what happened at lunch, what made her laugh, what made her cry. Then she turned 16. Now every answer was one word. Dad blamed the phone. He was wrong. Every afternoon they had the same conversation. How was school, baby girl? Fine. You okay? Yep. Anything happened today? Nope. She'd smile, pick up her phone, walk upstairs and close the bedroom door. One evening he walked past the kitchen. His wife and his daughter were still talking, laughing, then crying, then laughing again. An hour passed. Dad never heard a single one-word answer. That night he couldn't sleep, not because his daughter had stopped talking, but because he finally realized that she hadn't stopped talking. She just stopped coming to him first. The next evening he sat beside her. He didn't ask about school. He didn't ask about homework. He didn't ask if she was okay. He just sat there, long enough for the silence to stop feeling awkward. Then quietly he asked, "What's been the hardest thing you've been carrying lately that nobody knows about?" She looked up, locked her phone, turned it over, looked back at her dad. There was a long silence. Then she whispered, "Can I tell you something without you trying to fix it?" Dad nodded. She took a deep breath, and for the next hour, he learned things he never knew about his daughter or that she had been carrying. Not because she finally trusted her father, but because for the first time in a long time, she felt like he wanted the real answer. When she finally stood up to go upstairs, she turned around, she smiled and quietly said, "I'm glad you asked me, Dad." He sat there long after she'd gone to bed, realizing the opposite of being heard isn't being ignored. It's believing that nobody wants the real answer. Maybe teenagers don't stop talking. Maybe they stop answering questions they don't believe are big enough for their heart. Maybe the saddest part wasn't that she stopped telling Dad first. Maybe it was when she stopped believing that Dad wanted to know first. The more I thought about that, the more I realized that Jesus rarely asked questions that could be answered in one word. What do you want me to do for you? Who do you say that I am? Do you love me? People didn't open up their hearts to him because he had all the answers. They opened up their hearts because they knew he wanted the real one. That's why I wrote The Father Wound, because healing doesn't always begin when we finally say the right thing. Sometimes it begins when someone finally asks a question that makes us believe that our heart is safe. Brother, if your teenager is only giving you one-word answers, don't be so quick to blame the phone. Tonight, ask them a question worthy of their heart. Then stay long enough to hear the real answer. If this feels like your story, subscribe and surround yourself with fathers who are rebuilding their families, one conversation at a time. Then go read The Father Wound. I made the first 4 chapters completely free. The link is in my channel description. Start there. Over the next few weeks, I'm also going to introduce the next framework I teach the fathers that I coach. My name is Spence Harris, and I'm the Daddiez coach. From hustle to home, this is Fatherhood Rebuilt.